Hillsdale.com. By the way, during the break, I was thinking, because there was a piece up on the TV about voting on whether or not to abolish ICE. And the three Democrat sponsors now are concerned because Paul Ryan, the speaker, has decided, okay, let's vote on it. Let's get everybody on record. And now they're, well, I don't know if I'm going to vote for it. I don't know. Here's my take. Then vote on abolishing the IRS right afterwards. What do you think about that, Mr. Speaker? Can you support that? Then I got to thinking further. The Democrat Party, abolish ICE, the second biggest law enforcement arm of the federal government that is intended to protect you and me and our communities. They eviscerate the United States military when they control the executive branch and undermine it. They've been undermining local law enforcement. You realize the Democrat Party's done far more damage to this country than the Russians? And I despise Vladimir Putin. I despise that government. I always have. I'm not one of these code pink Republicans. But the Democrat Party is doing more damage to this country, just as Mr. Comey, Mr. Stroke, Ms. Page, McCabe, the rest of those clowns, Mr. What's the jerk on TV? Brennan, Clapper. And every time I hear Clapper, I do the expecting the lamp to turn off or turn on. But anyway, those people, their interference in our election, none of them. Nobody's getting indicted around here. Only the Russians. Although we're going to indict them way over there. And then I just want to reiterate what I said earlier in the show. Mr. Rosenstein, Mr. Deputy Attorney General, Mr. Mueller, if that is your name, I have a question for you. If you believe meddling in elections is a crime, and it is. If you believe meddling in elections to affect the outcome of election is a notorious act, that there needs to be punishment for it, then I will ask you yet again, why have you not charged Barack Obama for meddling in the Israeli election? For committing acts of espionage against members of Congress, Jewish organizations, the ambassador from Israel to the United States, clandestine activities against the Prime Minister of Israel. I'm being quite serious. They set up this phony NGO, non-government organization. They washed and laundered money from the State Department through it for the purpose of influencing the outcome of the election in Israel. So why hasn't anybody been indicted for that? Why hasn't Barack Obama been indicted for that? Instead, you're indicting Russians? Fine, indict all the Russians you want. And by the way, another question. That's going to be raised by Scott from Rancho Mirage, California, on the Mark Levin app. Scott, what was your point? It's relevant here.
2 points, Mark. First, why doesn't Trump take the high road and tell Mueller and Rosenstein to file a complaint against Russia and Putin in the International Court of Justice?
Well, Trump doesn't tell people who to indict, but I'd like the rest of your point is, we know that Putin was behind this. His generals, his intelligence officers, the hackers, they have a whole building filled with these people who have as their mission to commit acts of cyber warfare. I think the legitimate part of your question is, why didn't they indict Vladimir Putin?
Yes, that was a question. That was a question I had.
Yes. What's your next point, sir?
If Putin was behind it, why not indict him?
You're in Rancho Mirage?
I am.
You must be surrounded by all kinds of libs. Anyway, what's your next point?
I know that you have pointed out repeatedly that the Office of Legal Counsel has rendered a couple of opinions that indicate that an employee or an official...
No, they indicate that the position of the United States Department of Justice is that you cannot indict a sitting president. Go ahead.
Okay, well, the Office of Legal Counsel also gave an opinion that Trump's travel ban was legal. And Sally Yates, as I understand it, was the first acting attorney general or attorney general who refused to comply or follow.
She was the acting attorney general. She had been a holdover from Obama. She had been the deputy attorney general because the Democrats held up the Sessions confirmation. And you're saying, yes, she blew it off. Yes, she did. And she was fired.
And I've watched Rosenstein when he was asked before Congress about those opinions, and he smirked. And I'm wondering if...
Are you sure he smirked? Because I think that's a permanent facial condition.
Okay, well, I question whether they have an intent not to comply with it.
Well, they're going to have a tough time doing that because the president's lawyers aren't stupid. If the issue is teed up, they'll go right into federal court and argue, among other things, this is the official Department of Justice position. They can't just change it because we have a new president or change it after the fact. So I think the president's lawyers would have a terrific argument.
All right. Well, Mark, those are my 2 comments, and thanks for talking to me.
Scott, thank you, buddy. Take